Good day, traders. This is Rich with some price action on the market. It's currently 4:06 p.m., March 18, 2021, Thursday. Markets were pretty red today. I was able to get away with a little bit of green. I hope you guys did as well. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. Yes, we had the markets going down. NASDAQ down 409, SPX 58, and Dow 153. Tesla down 45, Apple down $4. You know, pretty red day. I guess treasuries and all this conversation in the financial world. Well, we were expecting this. We were expecting this highs. You know, we're up at highs, and we were looking at, you know, a little bit of a pullback, a little chop around scenario. I did have some morning issues with Tradestation right away in the first 5 minutes and in the last 5 minutes of the day with my charting. It just, the prints were working, level 2 was working, but my charts weren't working. That was a little frustrating because there was a last minute news event on Disney. I would have been a little slow to it, I think. Interesting how that just popped up. I would have been a little slow to it anyway, but I missed it. So let's go into the action today. Give me a second here. Okay, I traded way less than yesterday, and I ran into a couple things that kept me from making way more. Actually, one trade almost really got me pretty bad, but for the most part, I kept it pretty tight. I would say UPST, I mentioned this yesterday in the after hours. It got some really good news and rocketed and then continued its momentum. I love trading this in the IPO during these few days, and then it got tough to trade in the chop downward here. But now I made this huge move, and we're talking up 88%. I tried to get in at a 93 area here on this particular candle, in this candle here. It was really spready and really tough. I was wiggling around, and I just got out when I saw some green I was on the green side of it and jumped out. I think I was in with 200 shares. Not a lot of shares, but this thing had like 50-cent spreads. Was moving a buck at a time at points, so it was like really risky, and I made $79. Unfortunately, my 73 entry was left at what was the high? 124.75. Really? So I left almost $30 on the table on that one. At one point, I'm just going to go, boom, I'm just going to nail a trade and just hold it, low a day, sell, stop, and just close it at the end of the day and see what happens. You know, minimal shares just to see. I mean, this thing just kept walking. I mean, it just kept walking up, and it was a little frustrating. I didn't catch it, most of it. But OCG, let's get into it. OCG, I got some of this action here and got out before the halt. But notice that I halted and went up like through $2 or $3 and halted up again. And I made $31. So I was like making minimal gains, and I was trading really light. I was trading 200, 300 shares maybe. AMC was another one of those that kind of didn't go. I got in a little early. I anticipated a break, but it was definitely algos at the 50 level here, just kind of testing you. And eventually I just looked the other way on AMC. Once the algos got involved, you know, that was it for me. IMT was my worst trade of the day, and it kind of just, I forced it, anticipated a 9 break here, and just got kind of flushed down with a few hundred shares and lost $92. It's so funny how like these UPST, eyes, OCG, you know, they move $3 or $4 or $30 in your favor, and you miss out on the big move. When you lose bigger. It's just interesting how that all plays out. Boeing, just kind of whatever. QFIN, I was looking for something there. It just didn't happen. DraftKings was a news trade. Jumped on that real quick, in and out. EXPR was a news trade too. In and out on that one real quick. I think I left a lot on that one too. I don't remember the exact entry. I think it was an early play around like this area here, and then just kind of fizzled out, and I got out. SINO was one of those NFTs that kind of just didn't really work out too well. And I would say my worst, since I started with Benzinga, my worst trade was HIG. I just traded poorly. News came out right here. I'm going to go to a 15-second candle here. So these are 15 seconds, and I actually got in at 80, so 64.80 on this candle here, and you can notice the flush down. It went all the way down to 64.55. So I was just like watching it chop for 15 seconds. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but being in a news trade, I like to either make it, it's either going to go or it's not. And this one kind of just took a minute. You can see here, it kind of just rode the 65. And then once it broke, it rocketed at 67. But once I got back near break even, I actually closed out the market. I meant to close out at the ask or inside the ask, where I probably was taking a gain because it was like 20 cents spreads on that one. But I took a market order by accident and I lost $21. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. I was in for 300 shares. So when it was down, I was down like $100, and I was willing to give it a little bit of room there, like down to this 8 area. Of course, it would have been a different scenario on a 5 or a 1 minute chart. But there was an area where I was like, okay, this is really good news. This is a potential buyout opportunity. I got to be in this thing. Look, it's at 68.43 now in the afters. It closed at 66. Wait, where did it close at? I'm sorry, because I went to 15-second bars. But okay, so it closed at 68.15, is at 68.43. But this was really good news. I just didn't want to let it go, but I also didn't want to go against me again, so I kind of bailed. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, how to handle these news trades. I think I handled it okay. I'm okay with the $21 loss. My total day was $88. Yesterday I made almost 600. Really good day yesterday. News was ramping up pretty good from the FOMC, and obviously with the NASDAQ and the Qs and the SPY dropping pretty good, and then Dow, it made it a little bit more difficult. People were looking at these NFT trades and like TKAT again. This became like really, it actually halted for a good period of time. I forgot how long it halted for, but way more, I think for like 2 hours or something like that, maybe an hour. There's people are questioning what's the reason for their 500% move, or what do you want to call it, or 1,000% move. I don't even know what it is up right now, but it was a decent day. I sat around a lot. I did some other stuff while things were happening, waiting for news or something like that, and I just kept it tight. I just didn't want to force anything. I didn't want to ruin yesterday, and but I still wanted to be active. But on a day like this, you kind of just have to sit on your hands, and I kind of learned from that. And I hope you guys did too. Like, you didn't force anything, because there's trade setups that did set up that I could have taken. I'm like, oh, that's a good entry there. Sometimes it went up like 7 cents, sometimes it went up like 15 cents and just fizzled out. And it just wasn't worth forcing those kinds of trades. So make sure you're not forcing anything out there. We'll be back tomorrow, finish up the week. You guys have a good one, and make sure you subscribe for new, like the video, share the video, and comment. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.